Hello everyone, it's Michelle with Peacefully Creating, and with Basics Part 4, you combine everything, the stamps, the inks, and the papers. Paper crafting can be simple, it can be pretty complicated. It just depends on how far you want to go. One of the things that we can do is use something that is fairly new to Stampin' Up. It's called blender pens. I like these because I can use my dies. So I'm going to use Starry Sky, Sweet Sorbet, Parakeet Party, Bumblebee. These are the ones I'm going to use today. Here are the pens, a wet base to them. And what happens is, if I were to take my ink spot of Starry Sky and I just push it on a block, I have some ink on the block. And then the tip here, I'm going to go ahead and rub it to the side just to make sure I get whatever color off. And then I can go here and I can start to add that color. I can have it as dark as I want, as light as I want. And I just color it in. It's sort of like watercoloring and markers put together. And I can go ahead and color this whole collage in the background. It's almost stained glass. So then I could put this on a card. I could color this in the background in a crumb cake. I think that would look quite nice. They give a soft finish. There we go. You see how I brushed it off on here so it's not as dark? And it's okay if it overlaps a little bit into the colors. There we go. Much better. I like that. Then I can just set that on a card. So this is a piece of Whisper White, the heavier cardstock, and I cut it at 8.5 by 5.5. I took some granite gray, and I also cut it, and this time it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So I put that on there. I added my base. Now, if you noticed here, you can see that I already started some of that blending, and I used Bermuda Bay on this one. So remember, I stamped the piano, and now I'm going to take this and I'm going to brush it off. And you see how soft and beautiful that looks when I do it using this technique instead of just pushing it on and putting it on. So I want it to look like it's that blue shadow in the background. Then I'm going to take a thank you to use basic black, and this is going to be one of the simplest cards I make today. And I'm going to put it right there. And there you go. Now look what I did. I accidentally went over and pressed a little bit too hard. There we go. And do you see what happens? It conceals my mistake and things look just fine. There we have it. A simple, very simple thank you card. Beautiful card. Look at that. Look at the dimension in it. Isn't that gorgeous? This, if you remember, I stamped the waterfall. And the waterfall is this, and it comes in multiple pieces. This is that double stamp that I used to make the waterfall. and one side of the stamp does this, and then the other side does that, and that's the image I got. I used Tahitian tide on that. This particular card is very intricate and very detailed. It has dimension and dimensionals. A new item that is only going to be available for a very short time, which are the dies that come with it. And this will be available for purchase starting September 1st. So what a gorgeous card that is. I tend to use a lot of thank you cards, so therefore I want to add this as a thank you card. I do not tend to put anything in my cards right away because sometimes I want to handwrite something, or sometimes I want to put a sentiment in there, and right now I'm going to leave it blank. The next card that we're going to look at is the mouse. Again, here's the same size card base. And it is, again, 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at the 4.25, excuse me. This particular stamp is a hostess set. If you've noticed, I use the blending brush. I also use something called, I'm not sure if this is available right now, but we have something that works similar. This is called Snowfall Accents, and that's what I put on top of some of the snowflakes and some of the snow on the ground. And I used blending brushes, stamping blends. I really, really like these. These are similar to a couple of alcohol-based markers that are on the market. So they all come with a dark version and a light version, a brush side and a more fine tip side. Let me start with, this is always the hard decision, which way to go. I'll start with the red. I'm going to put it on here. I am far from being an expert at this. Many other people would be better at giving lessons on this. I would like to take some lessons myself. I tend to outline the character and the parts of the character with the darker color. I am going to do the green, which is the parakeet party. I wanted a lot more vibrant Christmassy color instead of the traditional evergreen and spruce and red. If I liked one item more than another, I think I really enjoy the alcohol markers. They are an investment, that is for sure. So again, they come dark and light. And I think I'm going to use the fine. If you notice, I'm doing one small section at a time. That works best because you want to saturate that paper. This will soak in really nice, and it allows it to blend it better. I don't know if you can see the dimension. You see how it bleeds through? It should bleed through equally. I'm going to add it all over to the face. I'm not really adding all that much difference in dimension. I might add a little pink there. Let's see. And a little red there. Let me see if I can get my pink. I have a little pink here. That'd be pretty with the ears. There we go. A little pink and maybe a little pinker on the nose. Maybe his toes are a little red because he's outside. There we go. Gray. Gray granite. I said it backwards. I always say it backwards. I don't know why. There we go. Not just so sweet and cute. Oh. I think I like these markers to use when I'm coloring it in is because they're so vibrant, and I just like that vibrancy. It looks more finished, I think. Now I'm going to apply this lighter one. It looks like I overtook the other one, but once it dries, you're going to see that dimension. I'll go back over one more time with that dark just right on the outline. And there he is. And the last thing I'm going to do with this one is his little pom-pom on the top of his head needs a little. And I did not shake this well enough. And I also see there's a bubble in there. I do not want to bubble. I'm looking for my safety pin that I normally use, so I'm going to pop that bubble. Come on, bubble. There you go. And now that should dry correctly and have that puff look. Tap, 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 tap. And then I'm going to place it on here. And there it is. And that will go right about there. Now I'm going to go ahead and raise this with dimensionals. If you remember, I have stated before in other videos, it's really good. You don't need a full dimensional. So what I do is I cut these. So as you see, I use the sides, and also I cut the dimensionals in half. And then I'm going to place it up here, and it gives that little dimension. And we'll put it up here. As you will see, here's a lovely card base. Again, the same size as all the other ones. I have a tag that I'm going to put a greeting on. Do a happy birthday. And the flower, and then I added the leaves. This particular paper belongs to the tea set paper. And this has been cut out with more of those die cuts. So how I did it was I took the paper, I went ahead and ran it through my machine, and when I got it out, I made sure all of these little fine details were poked out, and there we go. What I am going to do is I'm going to take a ribbon, and I pull that through, and then pull that through on the same one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Double check that I have it the right way. And now that I have it the right way, I'm going to make sure it's not twisted in the back. Here's some adhesive on the back, and now I'm going to place this down like such. Somebody taught me a trick when I was participating in a online event with Stampin' Up. We have these new tweezers. When you use them, when you push on them, they open. When you let go, they close tight, and they clamp tight. And that is very helpful, as many of you know, when you need an extra pair of fingers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clamp where that first knot is. And I don't think I clamped on it correctly. There we go. I've done this before. Why is it not working? There we go. And then, just like you do with that extra finger, you just pull it out. There we go. That was much better. And now I can get it to the length I want it and the shape I want. There we go. And pull that down like so. And this one, take those scissors. It's really important that you use different types of scissors for different purposes. That only the scissors that are going to be used with paper are used with the paper, and scissors used for fabrics can be used for fabrics. I'm going to use dimensionals on it. Oh, I was going to add some more glue to this because I didn't glue all of it. I was thinking, oh, it's working well. No, it wasn't. And plus I pulled too hard on that ribbon. So now I'm going to go ahead and flatten it a little bit. And it's okay that it's sticking up a little, because once I put the flower on there, it is not going to be visible. I'm going to use whole dimensionals on this one just to speed it up. Where do you get dimensionals? Well, Stampin' Up! Does sell dimensionals. And if you happen to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, and you cut your dimensionals in half, you end up with plenty of extra. And watch, see how that covered that up? And now we have one more thing to do. We're just going to place that, and I'm going to put the words happy birthday on there. I think this would be a lovely birthday card. The nice thing about Stampin' Up! Is all their colors coordinate well together. This happened to be a leftover tag for one of the Paper Pumpkin kits that I had. And then I'm going to go ahead and add dimensionals to that. This time I will trim them so that they are not full size. With the dimensionals, I like to put one in the middle, one on the side. And since I know the length of this and know where I want it, I just sort of eyeballed where that is going to go. You could put the dimensionals here if that makes you feel more comfortable. And there we go. Isn't that pretty? Well, I hope you enjoyed the final video of Back to the Basics, putting it all together, where I used inks, stamps, and paper to make all of these designs. Thank you for joining me. If you would like to know more information about Stampin' Up! Or any of the things that I've done today, please contact me. I would love to hear from you and get some ideas from you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.